Was an old hymn, How Great Is Thy Faithfulness, and I wanted to play it because Mildred and Janet Schmidt donated this piano, and they were good friends of ours when they were in the choir in the Methodist Church. And Mildred was always, and Janet, looking for something better musically, and this piano is a wonderful instrument. So the next sections are going to have to deal with bells and churches, sort of. I'm going to ask Mary to read the lyrics of the next piece, which is called The Serenade of the Bells from 1957.
People think that miracles can't happen, but it seems to me they often do. Listen while I tell of one to you. In the sleepy town of San Juanita, there's a story that the padre tells of a gay senor and senorita and the serenade of the bells. Seems they asked the padre for permission to be married early in the spring, but their folks had made just one condition, that the mission bells had to ring. Everyone knew the bells were broken and hadn't sounded for a long, long time. Then one night the village was astounded, for the bells began to chime. Still, the bells are broken, goes the story. But if in your heart a true love dwells, they will sing for you in all their glory. That's the serenade of the bells.
the next pieces are all about rivers. And the first one is a very interesting one that was done in 1936. It's Jerome Kern's from Showboat, and it is the song, what is the name of it? The River, Down by the River. And Paul Robeson sang it in the original versions, but then there's William Warfield, and one version, if you get online, you'll just love what Judy Garland does with it. It's just really marvelous. So I hope this turns out. Here we go. The next is really started out as a hymn written by a Brooklyn minister in 1864. So the times in 1864 must have been as turbulent as we have now, or close to it. And he wrote this song, Shall We Gather at the River? And instead of all of dire predictions, it was a hymn that talks about the rivers that run flowingly towards God, and it's a very positive thing. And it is Copeland, who liked American early folk tunes, took it and said a piece called At the River, which is based on this hymn. I'll end up probably doing it a gospel style because that's more natural for me, but we'll try. next sections that I'm going to do are 3 pieces that have to deal with our era. The first one is the Battle Hymn of the Republic, which was written by Julia Ward Howe, did the lyrics, but she actually adapted John Brown's Body Lies a Smoldering in the Grave, which is the first part, and then a gospel hymn for the end. It became almost a marching song for the Union armies, but also for Martin Luther King. Some of the last words he spoke that people heard from him personally before his assassination was, "Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord." The next is really a hymn written by Dan Shute in 1981. And he's a very well-known Catholic hymn writer. And the hymn has moved from just the Catholic tradition all through the U.S. and many, many hymnals. And it's really a hymn, I Am Here, Lord. And it starts out with, I, the Lord of sea and sky, have heard my people cry. And whom shall I send? And the answer is, I am here, Lord. So. And the next one you will all know, and I will play it several times to keep in mind. We shall overcome. We'll hold hands together, and the words for it are part of the civil rights movement, that it became famous really in the 80s with people like Joan Baez and Pete Seeger singing them, and it became a really important song. And we'll hold hands together, and we hope for peace, and we hope for freedom. And it's a very powerful piece when a whole group of people are singing it. The next two pieces are pieces that I like, and you'll recognize the first one, Where Is Your Heart? And the last one is a Guy Lombardo piece that is called The Little Waltz. Okay? Thank you for watching.